some of that rezoning and building taller buildings, those initiatives have been rejected in the past by the very same communities where we want to build these houses, particularly Silver Spring and other places where redevelopments of parts of the neighborhood into townhouses, or maybe going into buildings that are probably steel and concrete, but there are 7 stories tall, 8 stories tall, have been fought against by the community. They're against this densification. They think it breaks the communities. It changes dramatically the landscape. It even affects the landscaping and all the environmental resources around these communities. Do you see these redevelopments as a problem, as the communities have highlighted?
I think the simple answer is no. And again, the point of showing that last slide that showed the two, what is allowed currently and what's not allowed currently, is that a lot of times when people think about multifamily housing, they think something that is drastically different than what exists in their neighborhood today. And it doesn't have to be. What I'm trying to tell and explain to people is that it doesn't have to be. There are lots of ways to make these housing types compatible with existing character of the neighborhood. And I say character with air quotes, right? Because a lot of times when people talk about the character of the neighborhood, they're not talking about the size and massing of the units or the buildings themselves. What they're often talking about is the type of people that will live in those units. And it may not even be racial. It may not even be socioeconomic, well, rather, it may not even be a racial issue. It may be a socioeconomic issue, right? What they're saying is that, they bought their home for $500,000 or $1 million. They could afford to live there. They scraped together to afford to live there. Why should someone else who's not on the same economic rung on the economic ladder as them be able to do the same thing? And so again, that may not be racial, but when you hear the terms character of the neighborhood, that's what they're talking about. To the environmental issues, as I said, I think the point of the Pike and Rose slide is that you can build dense urban development and still meet our environmental goals. And in fact, building dense urban development near transit is one of the best things that we can do for our planet, because it reduces driving, it reduces greenhouse gas emissions, and the buildings themselves are typically more environmentally friendly than one might exist there prior. So the short answer is, I don't buy those arguments. It is a tough sell. I'll be honest. It is a tough sell to people, and it's a hard sell. But the one thing I would say is that people are coming to this county, whether we want it or not. We're going to continue growing, and we have to continue growing. We cannot stagnate. If our economy stagnates, that's income taxes that we're not adding to the county's funds. That's growth that is not happening. Those are jobs that are not going to be here. And so our ability to attract the workforce of tomorrow depends on our ability to grow. I know it can be a tough pill to swallow in some places, but again, I think that there are a lot of things that the county can do to mitigate the impacts of those types of developments.